Okay, well, we'll talk with Bastila while we're here.
How can I help?
I'd like to know more about you, Bastila.
Yes, I suppose I can understand your curiosity, given the bond that connects us. Very well. I'll tell you a bit about myself.
Tell me how you joined the Jedi, then.
I was found to be strong with the Force at a young age, as most Padawans are. As a girl, I was given to the Order to be trained. When I joined the Order, I left my family on Talravan, as all Padawans do. My family is still there, the last that I heard. I've had little contact with them, as it is discouraged.
Discouraged? Why?
Relationships with family members are fraught with powerful emotions. Such extremes are to be avoided. Anger and hate are the worst, but even love can lead to folly.
You aren't allowed to love?
Emotional entanglements can be dangerous. They can impair rational thought. They can lead to outbursts of uncontrolled emotion. A Jedi must be above such things.
You don't sound very convinced.
It can be a hard lesson to learn. I was not on good terms with all of my family, but I do remember missing my father terribly for a long time.
Who weren't you on good terms with?
I was not on good terms with my mother. I was only a little girl when I left, but I was old enough to resent her and the way she treated my father. She pushed my father into treasure hunting. I spent all my young life on ships, traveling from one false lead to the next. She whittled away my father's entire fortune, and I hated her for it. I think she was relieved to give me to the Jedi, but my father was heartbroken.
You never tried to get in touch with your father again?
A child is too young to understand the sacrifices that must be made. It's better if they have no contact with their family once they're removed. Once I was older, I realized the wisdom of this policy. A Jedi must do what is needed, personal desires notwithstanding. Love can only obscure and confuse the matter.
You sound very sad when you say that.
Even a Jedi cannot always control the feelings of the heart. We must do our best to guard against it, no matter what the cost. But some sacrifices are harder than others. I do not wish to discuss this anymore. I would rather return to our mission.
Alright.
Yes, what's on your mind?
Let's get Karth's input. We didn't end our last discussion very well.
Well, I'm not very good at this. I know I owe you an apology. More than one, probably. I was just so desperate to finally face Saul directly in the Battle over Terrace. And now the Jedi have us looking for these star maps. I know this mission is important, it's just, I feel a bit useless. I mean, I can fight, sure, but I'm no Jedi. All this feels completely out of my league.
Why don't you return to the front lines, then?
Because this is more important. This may really finally make a difference. I suppose, even if I can't figure out everything that's going on, I still want to help if I can. I just hate not knowing what's going on and feeling this helpless. But I shouldn't have taken that out on you. I've been a royal pain in the backside, haven't I?
Not really. I couldn't care less what you think. Don't worry about it, Karth.
No, I do worry about it. I've traveled the lanes more than once. I should know better than this. So, I'm sorry. Will you accept my apology?
Only if you agree to work with me for once.
Done. Let's get underway then, shall we, partner?
Alright, making progress. Woo! Progress with Karth. Alright, Zalbar, how do you feel after everything? Do you know anything about the plan we're on? I wonder if you could help me with a problem. Dang, what? Have you anything more to say about yourself, Zalbar? Why did you request to take Becca's sword? I'm sorry we can't stay on Kashyyyk longer. Couldn't stay on Kashyyyk. Why did you request this Nostalgia won't interfere with your service views. I wish you well. Let's get going. Alright. Johanny?
How may I be of assistance to you, Padawan?
I was wondering if we could talk.
What is it you would like to speak to me about?
Tell me more about your past.
Well, I suppose I have not talked very much about the Jedi I met back home. They, all of them, were so very invigorating.
Invigorating? I already know about the Jedi. Talk about something else.
They were so very alive, so full of hope and energy and zeal. In retrospect, I can see it was a little bit tragic.
Tragic?
Well, yes. These Jedi were going to fight the Mandalorians just after they had invaded. Many of those Jedi perished in the fighting. But to us, they seemed invincible. Especially their leader, who they talked about all the time. Paragons of light and justice, sweeping away all iniquity before them. It was like looking at gods.
The Jedi are not gods. Damn straight I do look divine, wow. If that was the case, they seemed to be misrepresenting themselves.
I was merely using poetic license. Those Jedi, they were enthralling. Everyone wanted just to touch them. Some people thought it would bring them luck. Not that the peace they brought lasted very long.
What happened?
The Jedi left. The people grew complacent. Those who had been wronged saw their chance at revenge. And so the cycle continues. The oppressed become the new generation of oppressors. The human oppressed, that is. The non-humans were never treated well in any case. We felt the brunt of both administrations.
Was it that bad?
Of course it was. They took their frustrations and hates out on us because the people they wanted had already fled or were too well protected. But no one looks out for the injustices we suffered. Oh no. But I am sorry. I should not have outbursts like that.
As long as you do not let your anger influence you.
Don't you see? The very fact I mentioned it means it has its influence. Anger can lead to the dark side, and I must be ever careful that I do not fall back into those ways. I thank you for your support. My outburst was uncalled for, but you did not lash back at me. You are a much better Jedi than I, it would seem. But let us not speak more of this now. We should continue on our journey. Perhaps later we will talk again.
Alright. Maybe missions got something to say?
Hey there, what can I do for you?
You wanna talk about your brother?
I'm sorry for the way I acted before. It's just that when it comes to Lena, I tend to get a little worked up.
Why do you hate her so much?
My brother and me had a good thing going. Sure, Griff had his run-ins with the law on Terrace, but we got by okay, until Lena came and ruined everything. She was a dancer at the cantina where my brother used to go play Pazik. Griff could be a real smooth talker, and it wasn't long before the two of them were dating. But Lena was used to dating rich Teresian nobles, guys with mountains of credits. Griff could never give her the lifestyle she was used to, no matter how hard he worked.
You mean no matter how much she stole?
I'm not gonna pretend Griff wasn't a hustler and a con artist, but that doesn't mean you can just insult him. He did what he did to look out for me. I thought Lena would brush Griff off when she saw how poor he was, but for some reason, she stuck around. I guess she saw the potential for a big payday down the road.
Maybe she actually liked Griff. It sounds like you're jealous.
I saw Lena for what she really was, a busty, credit-grubbing cantina rat. She used Griff and took away the only family I had. After they'd been together for a few months, Griff told me he was leaving Terrace. He and Lena were gonna try and make their fortune off-world. He promised as soon as he made enough credits he'd come back and get me, and we'd all live like royalty. That was 2 years ago. I haven't seen him since. I don't even know where he went.
How is this Lena's fault?
Oh, I know what happened. As soon as she got him off Taurus, Lena sunk her claws into Griff but good. She twisted him around her little finger and made him forget all about me. I know I'll probably never see Griff again. But part of the reason I came with you was to hope that I could find out what happened to my brother. Don't worry. I won't let the search for Griff get in the way of what we're doing. Let's just get back to the task at hand. Is there anything else I can help you with?
Anything about the plan we're on?
I'm not the one you should ask about Dantooine. I didn't even know there was a Jedi Academy here. I always thought it was just a bunch of settlers and farmers. Sorry I can't be more help, you know? Is there anything else I can do for you? Okay, have it your way.
Oh, we didn't get a journal note. And T3. Can you construct a program? So, I want to ask you some questions. Do you know... You don't even know what I was going to ask. Just chime in if you ever have any advice. Shit. Not much of a talker, huh? Okay, let's figure out this kid's situation here. The stowaway.
Mucho shakapaka.
Sasha in her language.
Mucho shakapaka.
There's someone there who will take you home. Lur Akura. Kestawan. You. Why are you hiding on my ship, Sasha? Let me find out then.
Selima wanga kunbikin.
You came to the ship before. You were very scared. Why?
Kipuna. Bona na kichu.
You left the Mandalorians and hid here on the ship?
Tonki ba non tontek.
You don't want to leave. The Ebon Hawk is your home?
Tong abuk shami no nok.
The Ebon Hawk is not your home, Sasha. Not your first home, anyway. Bristag Nash.
Tong abuk shami no nok.
Tell me about your home before. Tibet, yeah. Man, he learns languages like that so fast.
Tonki ba non tontek.
There is someone there who will take you home. Dantooine, maybe someone here remembers you.
Mucho
Okay.
shaka.
No, they don't know any of that.
Mucho shaka. Tong abuk shami no nok.
Yes, you can go home. I say so. She seems uncertain. Yes, you can go home. Alright, we gotta find who her kid, who this kid's parents are. There you are, Jolie. Let's talk to you real
Got
quick.
something on your mind, do you?
Why did you decide to come with me?
You got yourself a fast little ship. I'd forgotten what engine sounded like. The closest thing to that on Kashyyyk is an uller in mating season. Ugh, frightful.
So you wanted to ride on my ship?
Or it could be for the free food. What's the gunk that comes out of the synthesizer on this bucket anyway? Do you never clean the darn thing?
No, seriously, tell me.
I'm old, damn it. I'm allowed to be enigmatic when I want to be. And don't you go telling me otherwise. You know, you remind me of someone else I knew ages ago. Pleasant enough fellow, great destiny, all of that. Breath like a bantha.
Did you annoy this poor citizen? Is this a comment on my breath? You're avoiding the question. Well, that's that.
No, but it could be. An Anduvian salt tablet would clear that right up, you know. Anyway, where was I? Oh yes, Andor Vex was his name. The force swirled around him like a hurricane. That's how great his destiny was.
I never heard of him. Is that what you see around me too?
Well, it's not so much a hurricane as a slight breeze. But that doesn't mean anything. Destiny is sometimes in the eye of the beholder. Well, it turned out that poor Andor believed a wee bit too much in the infallibility of that destiny. That overconfidence turned out to be his downfall.
Is there supposed to be some hidden meaning in this?
I don't know. Are you overconfident? I hadn't noticed. Even if I had, I would never comment on it. We're talking about Andor, remember? Let's see. Oh, yes, Andor's downfall. I was pretty young myself when it happened. At the time, I thought that Andor's destiny couldn't be more boring.
How young are we talking?
Well, let's just say that I was a strapping young lad with a full head of hair, and Coruscant was a small town with a well. I was just about to abandon Andor to whatever the Force intended for him when his ship was overtaken by a Dimian warship. Now, you've probably never heard of the Dimians, but at the time, they were a nasty lot led by a nastier overlord named Krat. Tall fellow, big teeth. Krat has us hauled onto the bridge of his ship for questioning, and that's when I knew that Andor's destiny was at hand.
Andor killed Krat, I take it?
Of course he did. Haven't you been listening? It was not in the way you'd probably expect, though. Well, Andor decides that his destiny makes him invulnerable and starts making all sorts of demands. Free me now. I'm not answering questions. Blah, blah, blah. Don't you know who I am? Yeah. Krat decides he's had enough and begins crushing Andor's neck. I told the boy he should have kept his mouth shut. I think he agreed, too, or this could have just been gurgling noises. Well, anyway. Finally, Krat has enough of Andor and tosses him aside into this giant energy intake shaft. Andor gets sucked in and starts bouncing around, screaming. Maybe Andor hit something sensitive on the way down, or just didn't agree with the reactor core. Next thing I know, all the ship's alarms are ringing.
You're kidding.
Everyone panics, and I run, barely making it to the ship in time before the explosion. Krat dies horribly, and the Dimians never quite recovered. Changed the political course of the entire sector for centuries to come. I'd call that quite a destiny, wouldn't you?
What? I hate you, old man? That's ridiculous. But how can you even be sure Andor was responsible?
What, are you kidding? What are the odds of that happening anyway? 1 billion to 1? You should do so well as to be sucked into the engine of some evil Sith Lord, you know. Andor was a hero. Sort of. Anyway, go on. My throat is dry and you're making me cranky. Shoo!
Alright. Jolie's interesting fellow. Hanging out in the med bay. What? Here's that limitless junk again. Alright, let's figure out our stowaway situation here. Robot. Let's go with mission and Karth. We haven't done anything with them in a while.